Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance on Las Vegas, one of the most interesting places on earth. Ask anybody in the world. I mean, anybody from anywhere. Las Vegas, they'll say, oh, yeah, I know that. Now, look how amazing this place is. This is a city, a town in the middle of the desert where, let me see, how many people come here every year? Take the entire population of New York City, the extended population, the entire population of the city of Chicago, the entire population of the city of Los Angeles, throw them all together, that's about 40 plus million people. More people come to Las Vegas, 41 plus million people every year to this city because it's a feeling of freedom and growth and expansion of all good things. That's what Las Vegas is really about. We are so pleased to have with us today one of the more interesting people in Las Vegas. She moves an important organization. She's a CEO of Jewish Nevada. Her name is wonderful Stefanie Tuzman. Stefanie, please say hello to 414,823 people around the world.
Wow. It is so nice to see all of you. Thank you, Barry, for having me this morning.
Well, it's an absolute delight and a pleasure. So let's just jump right in. If I told you all the wonderful things about Stefanie, it would take the rest of the time. I'm just going to give you 3 data points. Number 1, most important, happily married with 2 kids. Yay, team.
Most important.
Right, most important. Number 2, dedicated to her role, not just as CEO, but as the point of the spear, the driving force of what's called Jewish Nevada. And number 3 is that she is an ecumenical person. She reaches out to the entire community to bring the services that Jews are famous for in terms of philanthropy and helping others and making sure that things are done in a positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant way. So, Stefanie, without any more ado about you, let's just jump right in and talk about what is Jewish Nevada. Is that very much like a federation?
It is exactly a federation. There are 146 Jewish federations around the United States. Each one of them are independently run and operated. We all have our own 501c3 and our own board of directors that make decisions, important decisions for our own local communities. But we're all a part of the federation system, which is a very well-known system, hundreds of years old, that is responsible for taking care of the needs of Jews everywhere. And so our responsibility is really to assess and address the needs of our Jewish community locally, and of course, take care of those in need in Israel. And there's a lot that covers.
Okay, let's unpack a few things that you just mentioned. Number 1, it is so important that people understand. Again, we're talking about people listening all over the world, and very few of them are really Jewish. Everybody knows what Jews are, yep. But they don't know what it is that Jews do, particularly. And you said 146 of these organizations around the country, hundreds of years old. In other words, rooted in Jewish tradition of justice, of giving, of providing, and as you said, assessing the needs of community. And that means everything from free loan societies to feeding people, whatever the need is, to be aware of it, to conscious of it, and address it. Is that correct? Yes. Really addressing those needs?
Yes, absolutely. And it's not just social services, but it's also all of the things that create and sustain vibrant Jewish life in a community. So Jewish day schools, our synagogues, camp opportunities, anything that brings Jews together and allows an opportunity to live Jewishly and experience Jewish life.
Let's talk about Nevada for the moment. Now, again, most people that are listening to this are geographically challenged. They don't know necessarily where Nevada is, especially if you're outside the United States. So do a quick Google. Do a quick Google, and you'll see Nevada is a very large state physically, a very small population compared to its nearest neighbor, which is California.
Yes.
California dwarfs it. However, right now, there is a large migration of people from California and other places coming to Nevada because Nevada provides some really important essential aspects of life. No state income tax, a very free and open kind of business environment. And Jews have been in Nevada since the 1860s, when gold and silver were first found, and attracted people from all over the world. But I think it's fair to say that Jews in Las Vegas have a history that goes back plus minus the 1930s, when the Boulder Dam was being built and it provided water and electricity. But even more interesting and sort of controversial is the gambling aspect and the casinos.
Right.
Let's be blunt.
Right.
Jews are very heavily involved in the business. And
Right.
what I think what has evolved from that is that it became so big that it enabled good things to come out of it. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. That's definitely fair to say. The Jewish community throughout the state of Nevada is about 76,000 Jews statewide. So the majority of that, as you would imagine, is in Southern Nevada. That's where most of, our Jews live and work, because Las Vegas is the largest city in Nevada. But then there's really nothing between here and Reno. And so we just recently opened an office in Reno in 2021, first with a part-time professional, and then slowly have grown because, as you mentioned, there are a large number of Jews coming over from Northern California, for many of the benefits which you mentioned, and Reno is just booming. And so we are trying to create community in Northern Nevada as well.
I love this, what you mentioned is the C word. I think the essence of the Jewish experience in any place, specifically here in Nevada, well, let's be blunt, this is a desert environment, except when you go to Reno, which is completely different seasonal issues, but it's all about community. And I think that's what you excel at. You particularly, Stefanie, we had a chance to speak a couple of times, and that this is your passion in life, building community and recognizing that everybody, for whatever part of the Jewish spectrum you're on, has a place in the community. Is that fair to say?
Yes, absolutely. And, it has its challenges, which I'm sure we're going to dive into at some point.
Yes.
But for the most part, this is an incredible community, and those who seek it will find it. And it's my responsibility, one, to make sure that we can be found, but also to make sure that once someone does seek out our services or our programming, that they feel welcome, that they feel safe, that they feel at home.
Let's use that safe word as a jumping off point, because oftentimes I don't give a date to what we're doing, but I will in this case. It's the year 2024, and we're in the month of September.
Yep.
And we as Jews, and I think the whole world, has just experienced a very heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching situation where 6 of the hostages were summarily killed. Bullets to the head, one of them being an American citizen as well.
Yeah.
And I think that puts a damper, as it were, in the Jewish community. We're a lively group, we're very outgoing and there with restaurants and parties and all kinds of stuff. That's what Jews like to do. We love to party. We're the original party animals, I say. I think there's a pall, P-A-L-L, that's cast over the community at the moment. I'd like you, if you'd be so kind, to address that.
We have been reeling since 10/7. We have been reeling as a community, as a people. Personally, I'm going to get emotional, Barry.
Right, I'm crying already.
Personally, it's been really challenging to do this work and to do it with such determination and vigor. And I'm a very happy person. I smile a lot. I'm really positive. I love this job, and it's been increasingly hard. So it shook our Jewish world in a way in which we weren't prepared for. And nothing I've ever experienced before. I'm 41 years old, and I have grandparents that were Holocaust survivors. And so I have heard the stories. I have lived the life through this work and through them. And this was like nothing we've experienced before. So I have to acknowledge that there was a great amount of loss on that day, and that there has been ever since. But what happened over the weekend was devastating in a whole other way. We have been calling for the release of the hostages. We have been calling for an end to this war. I think it's really important to acknowledge that we didn't want this, that there was a ceasefire on 10/6, and that on 10/7 we were blindsided by Hamas terrorists, and it's taken over our entire world. And the sickening part here is that, there was a lot of disbelief and also just grasping for hope over the last almost year that these hostages were even alive. And when we listened to Hirsch Goldberg's mom and dad, Rachel has become the face of this hostage crisis. And just her last words after every time she spoke was, "Hirsch, if you could hear me, stay strong, survive, I love you." I mean, she didn't even know if he was alive or not. And so it shook us to realize that, like, oh my gosh, they have been living in this hell for the last 330 days. And they were just moments, we believe, moments or days away from being rescued before being murdered. And it was devastating. It was heartbreaking. It was another sort of, push back down just when you think maybe we're getting up again. And so we gathered on Monday as a community. It came together very quickly in the span of maybe 5 or 6 hours, but it felt like it was something we needed to do just to create space and bring people together. And so Monday evening, we gathered together as a community. Jewish Nevada partnered with the IAC, and we invited our community to mourn together, to grieve together, and to really sort of reinforce and recommit to this determination to continue the fight. And we, as a people and personally, have a lot of work left ahead of us, and we're not giving up now.
Thank you for that impassioned and real glimpse into who we are as a people here in Las Vegas, where people think Las Vegas, boo, boo, boo. And yes, it is. It is the home of happiness, fun. I mean, it's entertainment. It's but I'm going to ask you, Uncle. I think what you're saying here is that this terrific tragedy has galvanized the community a bit into recognizing that we, as a group, as a Jewish group, and we welcome as an ecumenical process all people who are seeking to help everybody, because as she spoke at the Democratic Convention, there are hostages from every religion and every background.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, I think people are more galvanized now to consider working together and giving of themselves, of their money, of their time, and in brotherly and sisterly actions. Is that fair to say?
100%. Yes. We've seen it. We've felt it. We've heard it. Yes. And, the federation system is in place to take care of Jews every day, but also in times of crisis. And when 10/7 happened, we immediately opened an Israel Emergency Fund. And without even marketing or making any sort of direct asks, we raised $1 million. It was, people came out. Yes, it was incredible. I mean,
we gotta love it.
That's right. It was really incredible. It was
okay.
really
Wait, I'm going to put you on that high note. We have a wonderful sponsor that loves us. We're going to go to a very quick break. We'll be back with more of this amazing Stefanie. She is, isn't she? And we're right back. Don't go away. There's more for you on the other side of this.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up. Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. Her name is Stefanie Tuzman. She is the CEO of one of the most dynamic organizations anywhere in the country, but specifically here in Nevada, called Jewish Nevada. It's part of the federation system, and its purpose, if I may be so bold to say, is to make sure that every Jew has what he or she needs to lead a full life, whether it's more time, more money, more food, more caring for hospital, any situation, as we just heard, it's because of the terrible, terrible murders that just took place, people coming together and really recognizing that money is necessary to help out the families of the hostages, to help out the widows of soldiers. I'd like to talk about that in just a moment. And it's people digging deep into themselves and, yes, into their pockets. Let's talk about what's going on Jewishly in Nevada, that we're all connected. So we're connected to the people in Israel that are fighting. Unfortunately, so many people have lost their lives, and now there are widows and orphans. Is Jewish Nevada working in that particular world to be able to help with assistance to widows and orphans that have come as a result of the war?
It's a very common practice in the federation system for communities to have a partnership region or a sister city in Israel. It's how the federation system was created, to make sure that there was a sort of net of relationships and partnerships and support throughout Israel. And so our partnership city happens to be Ramat HaNegev. It is in the desert, in the heart of the desert. And you can guess why, because there are a lot of similarities between Las Vegas and the Negev. And so that community has absorbed about 2,000 evacuees from the Gaza envelope, those who have lost their homes, those who cannot return to the kibbutzim until it's been cleaned up, until it's safe to do so, those who have lost family, those who have lost, friends and loved ones. And so the priority area for us was to care for them, the safety, and just to create sort of, some sense of comfort and familiarity within Ramat HaNegev. I mean, they needed basic infrastructure needs. But one of the other things about the federation system that's so wonderful is that because we've created this strong network, part of our funding has also gone to support the agencies that you are referencing here, which are those that take care of soldiers, that take care of soldier families, that take care of those who have lost family during the war. So yeah, I am biased because this is what I do, but I also just love the federation model because we touch so much with one donation. It's not very specific. It is very intentional, but also very, excuse me, I've lost the word. We're able to touch so many different lives with one gift.
I'm going to make a bold statement here, again, because we have listeners throughout the world, in Pakistan, India, throughout Africa, Europe, of course, America, Latin America. People do, for whatever reason, have a thought about Jews, love them, don't like them, whatever it is. Everybody recognizes that Jews have a unique distinction, which is all Jews are related. Even if not, physically but family, but any Jew anywhere in the world touches another Jew. So again, whether it happens to be in this particular situation horrible in Israel, but just as easily it could have been in Singapore or in Russia. Remember during when Russian Jews were trying to get out and such. So this is, I think, unique to our community, and I think, as you said so eloquently, to the federation system, to recognize that we are all connected. And I think this is something that the world recognizes as one of the greatest strengths of the Jewish world.
Yes.
That there's no such thing as, well, we're over here, you're over there, so okay, you're nice, we like you, but no. It's not that we all eat the same foods, because we don't. You know, it has nothing to do with that. It transcends this. So when you talk about the tribe is transcendent in the sense that we all recognize that there is a God, the creator, and the creator has endowed us with certain inalienable rights. Among these is to, and happens to be in this week's portion of the Bible, tzedek tirdof, which translates into justice you shall pursue. So I think that's what you're doing here, is it not? In the Federation, specifically Jewish Nevada, you pursue justice wherever it is, and make sure that we get involved and make sure that people are taken care of, right? Isn't that you, Stefanie?
Yes, absolutely. And there are a lot of amazing, incredible Jewish organizations throughout the Jewish world. And I actually made a comment on Monday evening when I was standing in front of the crowd at the vigil that we held for the 6 Lives Lost, that it is insane to feel something so deep and so powerful for these lives lost, for people you've never met before. But that is what being Jewish is about. We are a family, and it doesn't mean that we are blood related, but we are connected. And yes, you are absolutely right. The Federation mission and model is to take care of Jews no matter where they are, and to make sure that they are feeling safe, secure, and able to live Jewish lives.
Oh, this is extremely important, because we're talking about now our children and our grandchildren, whether we have them or not. So you have young children, but you're already looking at being a grandmother. Let's be blunt, right?
Every time I talk about it, I say that this is not for me, right? I mean, it is right now, but also it is for my children and my children's children, and and that's really what I feel.
And for people to feel safe in their Jewishness, or just as if they're safe in being a Catholic or a Muslim or a Hindu or nothing.
Yeah. It's incredible that, the investment that we make in Jewish life in this community has been overtaken by the expense to secure our community over the last year almost, and even before then, but certainly over the last year, we've spent a lot of money making sure that our day schools, our synagogues, our agencies and institutions are actually secure. And that means manpower, and that means hardened security at the door, and cameras and locks, and all of these kinds of things that we never really thought we'd have to deal with. And we're making a huge investment in our community to ensure the safety of our family.
And I think you said it so well. That wasn't even on the radar prior to 10/6. Things happen. There's just always crazy people. It was never a sense of insecurity to the point of, people could get harmed, because that's not America. Certainly not Las Vegas.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we all have to deal with it or think about it in a very different way than we ever have. And I think, before 10/6, before 10/7, we were faced with, the shooting at the Chabad in Poway or at the Tree of Life synagogue. And so, it was there, and it was causing us to take pause and to think about how we can be proactive instead of reactive if, God forbid, a situation were to come here. And so we've invested an exorbitant amount of money in safety and security.
I would like to call out for a bravo, especially here in Las Vegas, and I think it happens throughout the country, our non-Jewish neighbors who are actively participating in making sure that they say, we're here, we're all a community.
Yes.
Could you speak to that just a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. So after 10/7, I was reached out to by the Green Valley Presbyterian Church here, and their pastor has had me to speak to the congregants several times. They've made donations to the Israel Emergency Fund. The Catholic Diocese reached out. The Christian Center, the Word of Life Christian Center, has reached out. And just recently, I connected with a pastor in Boulder City who was running a congregation there and is really mobilizing their community to support Israel and to make sure that the Jewish people know that they stand with us. It's such an incredible feeling. And, each time that we do these kinds of vigils and community gatherings, it is so much more impactful and heartfelt to see members of our interfaith community, our allies, our friends in the interfaith community there standing side by side with us, so that we don't just feel like we're yelling into an echo chamber, and that we're talking to each other, right? And I don't need to tell you what happened on 10/7, Barry. You believe it. You saw it. You know what we've been dealing with. But to share that with my friends of other faiths, it's such an incredible feeling.
Well, one of the things that I'm so happy about that you're here today, and I'm truly humbled and honored that you're making the time to share with us. Again, we're talking to people throughout the world, and there are many people. Again, I use Pakistan because we have thousands. I know thousands and thousands of people listen to us from Pakistan, and they're amazed, almost to a person. I get lots of notes and such like that. They often ask me, why are people picking on the Jews? Now, these are Muslims in Pakistan, and they don't understand what the issues are. I mean, either do we oftentimes. We're all about love and peace and helping and giving, and it's part of a unfortunate situation that has been part and parcel of our history for thousands of years. I just want to emphasize that you just did that the goodness that's coming out of this, and there will be goodness. It's not a silver lining. It is the golden rule for the Jews that when you do well, you do good, you will do well, and everybody will benefit. So the fact that people are coming together and saying, we're here, we're standing together, we know that goodness is in the God of Israel, and that there's only good that's coming out from federation and people who are oriented to making things happen, because it helps everybody. Everybody. We're not a tribe that's exclusive. We're inclusive, right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay. On that high note, I'm sorry to even say these words. Our time for this session is coming to a close. I have 3 quick questions for you. Wonderful, Stefanie. You ready?
Yes.
Number 1, will you come back again?
I hope so. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Number 2, you have only 80 seconds to answer this question, Stefanie.
Okay.
What is your most fervent desire?
Oh my goodness. My most fervent desire. Oh, that's so hard, Barry. There's so many. In this moment, I want my kids to be proud of the work that I'm doing and to one day recognize the reason why I'm not home for lots of bedtimes or at school activities, because I am working to take care of the Jewish people.
Woo! And may I give you a hug, a virtual hug in front of 418,927 people around the world?
You got it.
Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3.
I'm hugging you right now, Barry. Thank you.
We're going to give a blessing from wonderful Stefanie and Barry. Go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad, go make a difference. Stefanie, don't go away. Okay?
You got it.
Where are you?
Thank you.